with two vibrant open access activists from Asia. I'm talking to Mikiko Tanifuji, who is open access publisher at the National Institute for Material Science, Japan, and Dr. Seo JeongWook, who is professor of pathology at Seoul National University, Korea. Thank you for being here, Mikiko and Dr. Seo.
Yeah.
So to begin with, let's hear your broad views on open access.
Our response will be different depending on his situation. As a professor in university, we very much enjoy easy access scholarly information, but we realize that privilege is very limited to very few people in the world.
Right.
Professors in university enjoy, but those individuals working in small colleges or small institutions, even in rich country, doesn't have that privilege, and the condition is worse in developing countries.
Right.
So our issue is that how we can get better access. But in addition, I'm thinking to add one more important aspect of the open access, that is, we need to have better production equity. That means the current production of knowledge is only limited for developed countries. Those information produced in less developed country is not that good level, but also we need to know the information produced in that level.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Seo. Mikiko?
My passion comes from towards open access is really, as a publisher, it is a great opportunity to scientists that they can choose now to make their research findings freely available, so that all of us believe that it will bring them more higher visibility or discoverability, and perhaps might sort of invite more citations as a result of higher readership.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a good choice for them. So it is not just one answer or the best answer, but I think it is very nice in the sense of infrastructure, as Professor Seo said, for them to choose, okay, this one I want to do this way, and the other work I will do publishing in the conventional way. So that as a publisher, I'm very passionate about this, and also as a librarian, I would like to certainly encourage researchers to understand about this.
So now let's hear a little bit about the state of open access in your respective countries. So Mikiko, can you tell me how things are in Japan?
It depends on the field. For example, physics or chemistry field, they're more understanding towards open access, but perhaps more humanities or literature area may be less understanding, or may have heard about it but never really think about to apply in your daily life. But as a government, fortunately, our government has decided to sort of push towards open science direction based on this concept of open access. So Japan Cabinet Office stated a proposal to a community in March, and I was one of the working group to discuss how to introduce this concept of open access towards open science, and what concerns we understand, but what sort of things that we can encourage. So in a sense that a government is about to ready to start advocacy, and perhaps next year funding body might introduce a level of scheme to the science community.
And Dr. Seo, what about open access in Korea?
Yeah, it's not easy to describe the current situation, because as Mikiko said, it depends on the subject area. But in general, our country, like Japan, China, have a great influence of Confucian philosophy. That means, what I mean is that we are learn to do knowledge sharing from the young. So open access in philosophy is sharing knowledge, but without enough consideration of financial aspect. So what my understanding on Korean authors on open access, their awareness is good, but in practice it's not that good. Probably their understanding of an open access is a little superficial, and so and this open access is really looks simple, but it's rather complicated issue. And Korean government also follow the international global initiative on open access. So they would like to push on open access, and particularly the medical and health area is a governmental obligation to publish in open access, but the practice is not that accurate. And in Korean Council of Science Editors and Korean Association of Medical Journal Editors, these two organizations is strongly supporting open access initiative. So we like Japan, there are some objections and some resistance from the humanity and social science area, but technology and medicine, I think there will be good progress of open access in Korea.
Thank you, that's really impressive. And do you have any advice for researchers who might have misconceptions or trepidations about open access?
Usually the professor is very strong on the idea, so it's not easy to persuade them on different idea. So when we talk about open access, they would like to hear what it means, but they think, why do you like to steal my literature, my papers, something like that? So in that case, I always say, I think we don't have to have our own idea, but rather we can suggest, or we can recommend our specialists on open access publishers and librarians. They will recommend us a good way to help our researches more visible and more cited. So that particular benefit will be shown by open access publishers. I think we can just follow. We don't have too much concern about your own property. That's what I'm saying.
Thank you.
I think in a way that scientists can be very flexible.
Yeah, I think so. They should better be.
I'd like to recommend as a librarian that librarians a very good intermediate role between scientists and publisher. So publishers do appeal a positive part of open access, but librarians could translate that positive part to fit into the reality of the scientists. For example, what benefit they would get, and so what's concern they need to understand in advance. And that kind of day-to-day communication is very important for scientists to understand correctly and share the fact that what's going on in the world or in that subject area, it is very good opportunities. So that's the information to correctly deliver to the scientists is very important, I think. And I really encourage librarians to take that role.
That's really interesting. Thank you, Dr. Seo and Mikiko. It's been fantastic talking to you. The room is a little noisy and dimly lit, but the insights were very valuable. What better time than Open Access Week to have had this beautiful conversation with these lovely open access advocates from Asia, Mikiko Tanifuji and Dr. Seo JeongWook. Happy Open Access Week!